Good morning, children. Today we will study the history, lesson, Jainism and Buddhism. In the first part, we will study causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism in the 6th century BCE, Vardhamana Mahavira and Jainism, doctrine of Jainism and sects of Jainism. So let us begin. Jainism and Buddhism. Causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism in the 6th century BCE. In the beginning, the Vedic or Brahminical region was very simple and easy to understand by the general people. But slowly, many defects cropped up and these regions became very complex and expensive. In the 6th century BCE, the society was plagued with inequalities in the economic and social sectors. The people then began to look for change in the society and for a simple religion which they could be easily understood. This resulted in the rise of a new sect in the form of Jainism and Buddhism. Some of the main causes which contributed to the rise of the new religion is given below. Complicated and ritualistic. The most important cause that led to the rise of Buddhism and Jainism was that the Vedic religion had become very complicated and was full of elaborate rites and cumbersome festivities. Excessive animal sacrifices. The sacrifices in the form of yajnas was an important part of Brahminical rituals, and now animal sacrifices became common. People resented the practice of animal slaughtering. The absurd ritual put the common people on the threshold of financial crisis as they could not afford the expensive sacrifices. The people looked towards Buddhism and Jainism, which fought against animal sacrifices and violence. Rigidity of caste system. The Varna or fourfold division of the early Vedic age became extremely rigid. With time and social mobility became impossible. The notion of caste division according to professions changed to caste according to birth, and interchanging between the caste was not allowed. The lower caste people were illiterated by higher caste and strict restrictions were imposed upon Shudras who became to be considered as untouchables. Supremacy of the Brahmin priest. The Vedic society was divided into 4 distinct classes or varnas, that is, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Shudras. The social status of the first 2 varnas increased and the prestige of the Vaishyas diminished. The predominance of the Brahmins were resented by the Kshatriyas. The Shudras were considered untouchables. This gave social discriminations, gave rise to social crisis and tensions. Difficult language. The Vedic religion had no doubt become full of complications and ritualism. But the worst thing was that it still clung to Sanskrit language, which the common people now did not understand. They could not go to reciting hymns. They could not understand. Efforts of intellectuals and religious reformers. The evils prevailing in the society, strict codes of Vedic religion and the hollow rites caused unrest, and people with high intellect and advanced view revolted against such principles. The people welcomed the teachings of Gautam Buddha and Vardhamana Mahavira, which put before the people 2 sects, which were easy to understand and follow. It was also looked upon as a means of liberation from the Brahmins. Thus, in this way rose Jainism and Buddhism, which in the beginning were nothing more than reform movements. Vardhaman Mahavira and Jainism. The founder of Jainism in India is believed to be Vardhaman Mahavira. He was the 24th Tirankara, saint with divine power of granting salvation to his disciples. According to the Jains, he was born near Vishali in 540 BCE. His father was the head of the Kshatriyas clan. His mother Trishila was a Lichvi princess. Mahavira was a well-educated and married to Yashoda. Mahavira renounced the world at the young age of 30, left his home and wandered from place to place in search of truth. After 12 years, at the age of 42, he attained perfect enlightenment and became Mahavira or Jaina, which means one who has conquered self-curbing all desires. His disciples or followers came to be known as Jains. He died at Para near Rajagriha in 468 BCE at the age of 72. He organized his followers into a fourfold order, namely monk, sadhu, nun, sadhvi, layman, shravak, and laywoman, shravika. His order came to be known as the Jain Sangh. Mahavira delivered his first sermon at Rajgriha, Magda, capital at Mount Vipul. Mahavira organized the Sangha to spread his teaching of Jainism. It was the dedicated work of Sangha which helped him to spread his teaching to religions like Magad, Kosala, Champa, Mithila and many other places. Doctrine of Jainism. The 5 vows. Whatever Mahavira taught became the teaching of Jainism. According to Jainism, the head of a Jain has to take 5 vows. Ahimsa, non-violence, not to cause harm to any living being. Satya, truthfulness, to speak the harmless truth only. Asteya, non-stealing, not to take anything not properly given. Aparigraha, non-possession, complete detachment from people, places and material things. Brahmacharya, chastity, to practice celibacy or to lead a virtuous life. Attainment of salvation or moksha. The Jains, like the Hindus, believe that the chief aim of a man is to attain salvation, moksha, or freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirths. This salvation can be achieved by following the 3 jewels, 3 ratnas of right faith, right knowledge and right conduct. Life after death and the karma theory. The Jains, like the Hindus and the Buddhists, believe in the life after death and transmigrations of soul. According to them, one acquires new life according to his actions, karma, in his past life. No belief in God. Mahavira had no faith in God's existence. He believed that every object, whether living or non-living, has a soul. He denounced the worshipping of gods and goddesses. He believed that to save oneself from suffering and misery, the only way is to lead a life of abstinence. No faith in yajnas, sacrifice and ritualism. Mahavira denounced the yajnas, animal sacrifices and the other rituals preached by the Brahmins, as it involved violence and killing. He considered these rituals and accompanying sacrifices to be worthless. Heart penance and self-sacrifice. Jain supported the idea of penance, the idea of starving oneself to death or santhara was considered highly virtuous. The concept behind the practice is that rigorous disciplines give strength to the soul and keeps the worldly desires subdued. Sects of Jainism. Differences had cropped up between the Jains of the south and the Jains of Magda. To sort out which a council was called upon in 300 BC at Patliputra. In this council, decisions taken by either of the groups were not acceptable to both, and as a result of these differences, Jainism got split into two sects, Shvetambara and Digambara. Shvetambara, or the white clerics led by Sthulbhadra. They fasted but did not believe in extreme penance and austerity. Digambara followed Bhadrabahu. They considered sky as their clothing and do not believe in covering their bodies, which signifies their detachment from worldly bonds. They were orthodox followers of Mahavira. They kept long fasts and led a life of austerity. Okay children, so this was the first part of the video on Jainism and Buddhism. I will advise you to go through the topic studied today from your textbook also. In the next video, we will take up the other topics of this chapter. Have a good day.